Hey everybody, Caleb here with a new series, Movies for Philosophers and Other Thinkers. For this series, I want to take films that are specifically designed to portray philosophies and to cause people to think deeply about philosophical concepts. Of course, a lot of films have philosophies in them, in some form or another, but for this series, I want to target films where the philosophy or system of thought is more explicit in the film instead of more hidden. Obviously, I know sometimes those lines get blurred in films with how explicit directors and writers are in their philosophies. And so over time I expect this series to become more about films that have interesting or unique philosophies or systems of thought to explore. The first film I want to explore in this series is V for Vendetta, since it's one of my favorite films of all time, but also because it doesn't just explore philosophy, but it explores the ideas of government and what role it should play in society. I want to make it clear from the beginning, I'm not here to promote one philosophy or political ideology over another. My goal is simply to state what the film is trying to say about these different modes of thought and how they play out in the film. I of course encourage you to do research on any of these philosophies on your own to learn more, and I've provided a few links in the description below for helpful resources to further any personal research. V for Vendetta is directed by James McTeague, and the screenplay is written by the Wachowski siblings, who directed the Matrix series. The original story is from a comic by Alan Moore, who is a notorious writer of comics and has written other comics such as The Dark Knight. He's known for his very dark stories. The story is about V, a vigilante in a Guy Fawkes mask, and Evie, an employee of the government-owned television network. Evie gets caught out after curfew and is questioned by the Fingermen, or secret police. V comes in and rescues Evie, and Evie tries to live a normal life afterwards, but her association with V proves to be troublesome, and she is thrown into a world where she is pressed further and further about her relationship with V, as well as her loyalty to the state. I'm gonna try and avoid spoilers in this film, because if you've not watched this film, I highly recommend it. The two main themes I want to focus on in this review are the role of the government in a society and what freedom truly means. These two themes are pretty intertwined throughout the film, but I think they both address different philosophies throughout the film, so I want to talk about them separately. The first theme I want to talk about is the role of the government. In this film, the government plays a totalitarian role, having complete control over all aspects of the lives of its subjects. I'm using the term totalitarian instead of fascist because I think it's more accurate. The two ideas are pretty similar. Totalitarianism is when a single political party has a singular ruler, whereas in fascism, it is the singular party who is in total control. Both could technically be used to describe the government seen in this film, as it is a singular party that is running the country, but the High Chancellor is the one who makes all the decisions, so therefore totalitarian is more accurate than fascism. The film sets up this theme early on by showing us how television is controlled by the state, how there are secret police enforcing a curfew in the whole city of London, and there are several references to George Orwell's 1984, a book and adapted film that also deals with totalitarianism. Part of this totalitarian rule, and as the film argues, all totalitarian rule, is a corruption of the state. This corruption spans all aspects of the state, from corporations to media control to torturing citizens for information to even religious manipulation and thought control, as shown by the example of the state outlawing homosexuality. The film shows that this kind of corruption is what allows for a totalitarian rule in the first place, and it forces its citizens into a mode of compliance. In this portrayal of a totalitarian government, it also offers up a critique of the George W. Bush administration in the United States, showing how the steps that the administration took in its efforts for peace were also the steps that would lead to the loss of the United States as we know it. The totalitarian rule that is portrayed in this film is one that seems only able to exist in books or in movies, but the directors and screenwriters would say that it is something that could absolutely happen if we allow our present course to continue. The second aspect I want to talk about in this film is the role that freedom plays, and particularly what freedom means to different people. One of the biggest critiques this film offers is of people who are complacent, who sit by and let things happen while their freedoms and their country get destroyed. And the situation turns into the totalitarian government we just talked about. V is a character that actively challenges the notion of complacency, and he fights back against the government that, as he sees it, is destroying the freedom of the people. This film asks what the personal stake is in freedom. It asks how much a single choice can make in creating freedom or destroying it. It asks if freedom can ever happen without people acting instead of just being passive. This film plays with the idea of what the difference is between a freedom fighter and a terrorist, with V jumping between one and the other throughout the film. The film asks the question, is it terrorism to hack into a government-controlled television and tell the citizens of a country to stand up for themselves and take back their country? What if you go further than that? This film asks their audience, how far is too far? What defines someone as standing up for freedom as opposed to terrorizing a country? Should you allow a country to do something that, in your eyes, is bad, so long as the people are fine with the way things are? The answer to these questions are answered by the film in the form of V and Evie, and it shows that the state needs to be opposed, that the rulers should not have all the power, and that the voice of the people should be greater than the voice of the government. It is for this reason why many people belonging to the Libertarian Party here in America love this movie, because this idea that the people have a greater say over the government, and that people rising up against their government can make a difference, is something that the party highly values, and that it's a value that many people have on their own, even if they're not associated with the Libertarian Party, and that's why it holds appeal for all sorts of audiences. Those are the biggest reasons why I think this film is worth watching. If you're looking for a film that makes you think and to question what beliefs you hold about the role of government for a country. Again, my goal is not to say that this film's political ideology is one you should follow or believe in, but rather that you should question how government works and what freedom truly means for a person and how one achieves what freedom is. I think any film that gets you to question the beliefs that you hold is one that is worth watching, and that's the biggest reason I recommend this film. Not to change your mind necessarily, but to get you to reevaluate your own beliefs. This film also has a lot of great action scenes, with V fighting some of those secret policemen or other figures, so if watching a film that has a lot of political themes doesn't really interest you, it's worth watching for those action scenes alone. It's highly stylized and it's over the top, but they're pretty fun to watch. I do hope you check out this film either way, and if you like this video, give it a like and leave a comment below about what you think about the film or suggestions about what film I should cover next. I would also love any suggestions about any other context I should do. I have a few that I've started here if you've been keeping up on the channel, but I would love to keep expanding and find different ways to look at film, different contexts at which to look films in. If you like the content on this channel, consider subscribing so you don't miss any new videos. It's also the best way to help me keep growing this channel. Thank you all for watching and stay tuned for next time.